Hi everyone, this is Christina Danforth from HR JetPack, and I'm back again, and this time I am hanging out in the SHRM Bloggers Lounge with Mr. Mark Fogel, one of our HR JetPack instructors. Are you having a great time yet, Mark, or what?
Christina, this is wonderful here. I'm having a good time, and I'm with one of my favorite people, Christina Danforth, so what could be better?
Exactly, right? Well, what could be better, though, is learning a little bit more first about you, and then also why you're here, and talk a little bit about professional development. So let's get started. I'll tell everyone a little bit more about Mark. So Mark is a veteran HR guru, if you will. He spent over 15 years at least as a CHRO, has a ton of experience, also serving as a senior adjunct college professor, an instructor with HR JetPack. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge, and now an HR consultant.
Yes, and my favorite thing is that consulting and teaching students, both college and adult learning, love adult learning. So HR JetPack is a perfect fit for me.
Great. So let's get started with our first official question for the conference. What brings you here, and what are you looking forward to?
Well, there are a few things that bring me here. First is, this is a one-stop shop to get educated. There's so many offerings, regardless of what your interests or your needs are. You come to the conference, you have 3.5 days, great speakers, great presentations, and the caveat is great people. I learn as much from the person sitting next to me as I do from the person standing on the stage. So that's the plus, is making that connection with others and hearing about their interest and what they're doing in HR, and then walking away from the conference and having all these great LinkedIn connections and Twitter connections, and very cool coming here every year.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I totally agree, to connect and to continue to build that HR community. So let's move on to our next question. Now, you're a senior adjunct college professor, also teaching with HR JetPack. You've been teaching for some time now. Why do you do it?
Well, I think it's really important to give back to the community that you work in, and HR has been great to me. The HR community has been really good to me and afforded me an opportunity to make a living, but also do something that I truly enjoy doing. And I think it's important that all of us find ways to help others. And for me, the way that I take my time to volunteer is to give back to the HR community. In the beginning, it wasn't teaching formal classes. It was going local chapters of SHRM, other HR organizations that I've been involved in over the years, and doing some small presentations and teaching others with less experience, or lending my experience to others. And that evolved into teaching college over the years. I've been at Adelphi for a decade now, and then actually to doing online coursework like I'm doing with HR JetPack. So to me, it's more than the money. In fact, the money's really secondary. It's about saying to other folks, I think it's a great career to work in HR. And I'm passionate about HR. I love HR. And I think that when you're passionate, you have to give back. And teaching others and making them the best they can be and feeling a part of it, that there's pride in that. You feel really good. When I was younger, I loved teaching. I taught swimming for many years in the day camp. And now there are these adults who I'm on Facebook and they say, oh, I know Mark Fogel. He taught me to swim. I don't want to tell you how many years ago. More than a few. But it's the same thing with HR. When I look at folks who were my interns at Leviton and at Markham, and now they are HR managers, HR directors, well suited in their own right. And I feel a little like I've been a little part of that. And teaching others is just that extension of helping others be the best they can be.
Great. Awesome. Right. So moving on to our next question, associated to the training and the education. You just finished, literally, within the past 2 weeks, an online spring course teaching the SHRM certification prep course with HR JetPack. And so I'm curious to know, how was your experience? And what should individuals hope to gain by taking an online course with HR JetPack?
Well, it was a really good experience. I think the first 2 weeks, it was an adjustment for me. My traditional experience with training has been live. I have done some online training and blended learning. This is purely online. So you have to be a better listener with your eyes instead of your ears, because not everyone, oftentimes folks are muted. I unmute folks to have conversations, but they're typing in or they're asking questions online. So you have to be a little bit more flexible with your hands, and you have to be flexible with your eyes, and you really have to be on your toes, right? But once I made that adjustment, as I said, I love teaching, I love education, and my students were fantastic. I had over 30 students in my particular class, and they were inquisitive. They challenged me sometimes. If they didn't like how I presented something or they had a question on something, we would delve into it. We would get into the nitty-gritty. And in the end, I feel the same way as I do with all of my other teaching experiences, that we went through it together. And I learned from them as well. Sometimes they would ask a question to make me look at the information differently than I maybe had presented it. So I think I become a better presenter each time I do the class. So I think I did a pretty good job this time. Hopefully the feedback says that. But more importantly, the next time I do it, I'm going to be that much better, the iteration of doing it over and over again. And knowing that these folks walk away prideful that they have this body of knowledge, that they go into the marketplace and go back to their jobs and say to their leadership in their own organizations, I am someone who has competency in the HR field, just like accountants do and engineers do and people who work in operations do. Having that competency is really, really important, and now they have it. So they're part of that. It's the business of HR. So that's what's really cool.
Great. All right, so one more question for you before I let you go back into Vegas, back into the conference here. So you've helped a number of HR professionals pass a SHRM certification exam. If you had one tip that you would give anyone who's looking to pass this spring or in a future exam window, what would it be?
Well, there's more than one, but the one that I always come back to.
There's many.
The one that I always come back to, once you've started the course and now you're taking the prep course and you're really getting ready, is do not overthink the question. Don't inflect or read into it. Break the question down simply to a couple of words, an adverb, an adjective, or a verb of what they're asking you. So it might be, what's the first step that you take in the situation? Or what is the most important? And you have to key in on first, most, or what happens all of the time, or usually. And when you have answers that say all the time, one of the things you'll notice with the test questions is oftentimes two of the answers sound eerily the same in a counterintuitive way to what the question is. You can almost knock those answers right out. So it's not just do you know the material, but are you answering the real question and deconstructing it? And then when you apply the answers, get to the root cause of the question, get to the root, and then answer to the root. And to me, that sounds really complicated. We do so many questions at HR JetPack. We got through all the material, and we do situationals pretty much every night. We do at least one bank of questions with the situation. We spent a part of an evening just with short question and answers, maybe 20 questions, and we went through it and discussed how you look at the root, and the students love that. And I think the tip there is, don't bring all the noise in your head into the question. Stay really focused and get to the root of the question and find the answer that's specific to the root.
Absolutely. It's great advice. Completely agree. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for your time and the opportunity to chat with you and to focus more on career development for HR pros. That is what we are all about, especially here being at the SHRM conference. Anything else that you'd like to share with us before we go?
Just keep learning about HR, and visit HR JetPack on the internet. Learn about the courses that are taught. It's not just the prep course. There's some other opportunities for you to gain some learning from HR JetPack. But and for those of you taking the test, either in this test window or the next one, best of luck. And we want to hear about your positive results. So,
absolutely. You will pass. You can do this.
Yes. Christina, it was great seeing you here again.
Yes. Great being here.
Everybody out there, have a great week.
All right, everyone, signing off for HR JetPack. Stay tuned for some additional interviews coming your way. Thank you again, Mark.